A very good morning to all of you. We are all set for Houston Open 2026. Washout yesterday, but all ready for the action today. And we start things off with the Baltimore Royals taking on the Columbus Falcons. This is Manali Patel. And I'm joined alongside Brian Walters. We're going to take you through the action of this game number one, rescheduled from yesterday. And it's a shortened game. It's a 12-over game. We're going to try and get as many of the matches missed from yesterday in, so there will be a shortened game to get things started. Weather-wise, it is overcast conditions, expecting a little bit of a drizzle today, but it's that wind factor that we continually talk about here at this ground at Prairie View. We take a quick look at the squads. It's the Columbus Falcons who have won the toss this morning, and they have chosen to have a bowl first. The skipper Shard Lumba making that decision just a few minutes ago out in the middle. And for the Baltimore Royals, Ravinder Singh, the skipper, he'll be leading his side and be hoping to get a good start with the bat. It will be tough conditions to get a good score early on, especially because of that wind factor and the overcast conditions. A lot of rain over the last couple of days, a good 2.5 inches. But the players are pumped up. They've had a day off yesterday, an unexpected rest day, and they're fresh and ready to play today. Good morning, Brian. How are you?
Manali Patel, good morning. We had an unexpected day off yesterday, which is probably not the worst thing that could have happened. I don't know that as a player you want to break the momentum that you had coming into having done all of the preparations, but you and I took a quick look at the surroundings before the game started. A little bit of a moist outfield, particularly towards the northeast side of the ground. It's a little bit wet, a little bit damp. In fact, as you see the umpires walking out there, that spot right where the umpires are walking out, as you see those dark clouds toward the west, that spot where the umpires are walking out is a little bit wet, so we'll want to pay attention to that. But the pitch itself, I think, is spectacular. Very dry, and to me, looks like it would have something in it for both bowlers and batters. So this truncated game, you referred to it earlier, this is a 12-over game, 12 overs, because of the fact that we're squeezing in the games from yesterday into today, on top of the 2 20-over matches that are scheduled today. So this first match between the Columbus Falcons and the Baltimore Royals will be 12 overs. Interestingly, the power play will be 3 overs and 4 balls. I don't know that I've ever heard that before, but I'm an old guy, you know. Our power plays are usually ending at the end of the over, but this power play will be ending at 3 overs and 4 balls. So you see the 2 new batters coming in, as it is going to be, it's like Unmuk Chand and his batting partner there, that would be Ritwik Behera. And anything can happen in a truncated game, Manali.
Got to try and make use of these power play overs, 3.4 overs, to try and use these fielding restrictions to their advantage.
Man running in with his warm-up delivery there is Ehsan Adil, former Pakistani opening bowler. Something interesting about Ehsan Adil, dismissed Graham Smith in a test match once. Graham Smith, the former South African captain. So he has that type of pedigree. And most recently made his debut playing for the US in the most recently completed World Cup. So loads of experience. I would give Esanadil probably around 34, 33 years old maybe. Tall, 6'5" or so. Typically bowls very close to the stumps and doesn't necessarily swing the ball much, but gets a lot of seam movement. You'll see him deliver from very close to the stumps, then that ball dancing off the seam in either direction. So Esanadil all ready to get started here with the action coming from the northern end. Manala Patel, interesting game ahead.
Bit of early shape. He's bowling against the wind as well, so he's done pretty well to get that shape away from the right-hander. A dot ball to start the innings.
I really like Esanadil as a bowler. Typically for me, bowls better with the new ball than bowling at the death. But he bowls typically that hard length, that ball that is somewhere just short of driving length, and with his height, generally gets good bounce. Not a whole lot of bounce based on that first delivery, and we want to pay attention to that green strip going across the middle of the track that you just saw. But interesting times to come here from this opening fast bowler. Yeah, you don't want to have a whole lot of time. Obviously, with the power play being 3.4 overs. After 3 overs and 4 balls, you certainly have the field spread out a little bit more. So you want to be able to take advantage, capitalize on this 22 balls of the power play.
Should be the first runs off the bat, and it is a slight misfield. It's going to allow for a single. Rithwick gets off strike with a single.
So you want to see runs on the board. Obviously, in a situation like this, you're going to be restricted. You don't have a lot of time to get settled. You're 12 overs, as you see. Look at this. Look how close he gets to the stumps right there. And a little bit of seam movement away from the batter. Look at that seam movement as you go through this game, because he can move it, Esanadil, in both directions off the seam.
Unmukchan, another experienced player. Just not wearing his shirt, though. Throwing the scorers and everyone for a bit of a runaround. Didn't know he had a name change.
Well, Tajinder Singh Dillon looks suspiciously like Unmukchan to me.
Aggression. Ball number 1 down the track, trying to take the bowler on. It's a swing and a miss. I don't reckon he's going to change his name after a book and a movie. Is there anything else that I'm missing? Way too much holding on to that name.
Aggression, you mentioned it, coming down the track, huge swipe and a miss there, but Unmukchan generally wants to get things going. He's generally a very aggressive batter, and again, in the truncated match that you're playing here, he certainly is going to want to get things going. Yeah, if I were him, I wouldn't change my name either.
Waits on it this time, and this is played beautifully. Just placed as he gets off the mark with a single.
Oh my goodness, how important is it that you get off to a good start? And with the ball, having just gotten through, just 1 ball remaining here in over number 1, just 2 runs on the board. So this is a great start by Esanadil.
We always talk about these power play overs in the shortened game, but there is still necessity of building that innings, isn't there? We often put batters in a lot of pressure when the start is a little bit slower, but if you've got the batting to come down the order, you can certainly capitalize on it towards the end of the innings. Down the ground again. This time it's Ritwick, and it's going to be a dot to end the first. 2 for none.
What a great first over from Esanadil. Ritwik Behar having the same idea that Unmuk Chan did on the 4th ball of the over, coming down the track, looking to go big, but that movement again off the seam away from the right-handed batter. So really good first over from the tall former Pakistani quick Esanadil. Excellent first over, 2 without loss. Now this is interesting. Second over to be bowled by Noshkenjige.
Another experienced player, part of the men's senior side. You a little surprised to see spin early?
I'm not, and I tell you why after this game. After this ball, I mean. After this game. I'll keep you in suspense for the next 2 hours, Manali.
I think that might be a really long wait for that suspense.
First of all, Noshkenjige is expert bowling in the power play. And another factor is something that we need to think about here. Oh, lovely looking shot by Unmuk Chan for 4. But the reason I'm not surprised, and that shot notwithstanding, is we talked about the wind earlier that's coming from the southeast. So as you look at your screen, the wind is coming from the bottom right to the top left. So if the ball is elevated in the air on the leg side, there's always the chance that it will hold up in the wind and provide a catching opportunity. So that's why you want to bowl your left arm orthodox from the southern end of the ground, the highway end. However, if it's going down the leg side like that one is, then that's a free hit, and that's what you just got.
Goes again. Back to back. It's aerial, and this might, no, it is being signaled as a 4. Thought that it might have just landed right on the rope, but it is back-to-back boundaries. Well swept again by Unmuk Chan.
I will tell you what, this is good batting. That was swept off of off stump, so that's not a bad ball. Initially, we're not exactly directly behind the bowler's arm here in the commentator's area, so looking at it live, I thought it was down the leg side, but it's actually a really good pickup shot from Unmuk Chan, pulling it or sweeping it from outside the line of off stump. Excellent batting.
Under a bit of pressure here. Kenjige back-to-back boundaries. Started really well with that first delivery. A bit of flight, right length and line. And just pulling that length back a little bit for this last one.
Yeah, he did pull the length back, and he did not flight it. So fired it through at pace, wanting to take away the option of sweeping from Unmuk Chan. So let's see what Unmuk Chan's response is here.
Goes leg side again, and this should run away. Absolutely does. That is 3 boundaries in the over. They make up for a quiet first over to start. 1 delivery to go, and under a lot of pressure here.
Flatter again, but the line itself is what's wrong this time. This time is going down the leg side. Left armour from around the wicket, slanting it in toward the pads. Not threatening the stumps in any way, so a much easier shot for Unmuk Chan there. Esanadil at short, fine leg. Really was just jogging after that the entire way because it was always going away for 4.
Oh, brings out the reverse. And it is a dot to end the over. 2 overs gone. It's 14 for none. Three boundaries, traditional sweep, and then on the last delivery, you decide to change things up and go with the reverse. Why?
My guess would be that ball, well, first of all, a reverse sweep is almost always premeditated. But it was actually not a bad option with the ball outside the line of off stump and flat. Not tossed up, so the option to sweep would not have been there, the traditional sweep. And again, it's a premeditated shot as you look at this replay. In fact, if we look at the 3-4s, there's a second from outside a line of off stump, and then that one is definitely going down the leg side. So, good stuff. Quiet first over, but they made up for it in that second over. 14 without losses. It's going to be Esanadil again.
Glorious. Down the ground, waited on this, and has placed it to absolute perfection for a boundary. Excellent shot this by Ritwik Behera.
Oh, that is lovely. This shot has a place in any form of cricket. Look at this. Straight down the ground. In fact, just a little bit too straight for mid-off to be able to do much with that. And it's essentially an elevated off drive. Really good looking shot and racing away for 4.
And the impressive thing with that for me is there was movement away. He was quite a distance away from that ball, but he held his shape and he watched it all the way through. That weight transfer was exceptional through the ball. Straighter this time, and even better, as this is going to be back-to-back boundaries. The openers have found their rhythm out in the middle, and this could be trouble for the Columbus Falcons.
Lovely shot, holds the pose. You always like seeing that. Manali, we talked about a very quiet first over, just 2 runs coming from it. The last 7 deliveries have yielded 5 fours. So they're off to a really fast start. Forget everything we said about the slow start at the beginning, because the Baltimore Royals are now warming up into their act. This is really, really a good start with them with the bat.
Misses his line this time, leg side, and that's going to be 4 more. This is a poor delivery. And clear signs that there is pressure on the bowlers. We see this so often. First over, a bit of pressure on the batters, and then that last over just has opened up those shoulders for the batters. Excellent shot for 4 more.
Boy, look at that replay. Slanting in toward the pads. You cannot bowl that line. Immediately see Monank Patel, the USA captain, who is wearing the gloves today, the actual captain in this game for the Baltimore Royals. Might make that for the Columbus Falcons, Sharad Lumba. But Esanadil is a better bowler than the last delivery that you just saw. Slanting in toward the pads from that angle, always going down the leg side, and with fine leg inside the circle, that is always going to be 4 runs.
Tucked away for a quick single. Intelligent batting this from the batters.
Intelligent batting, but it's also much better ball. Number one, the line was a lot better, the length was better, and he went pace off. So in situations where the batters are going after you as a bowler, it's almost always is a good idea to sort of take the pace off and then make them essentially have to adjust their timing. So good comeback delivery. What does he do with these last 2 balls? So that will be important.
Good delivery again. Good length.
That is the typical delivery that you will get from Esanadil, which is why when one goes down the leg side or one is too full, that's the exception. The rule for him is that ball right there, just short of driving length and on off stump, dancing away. That to me is a very good delivery.
Picked up, goes big, goes all the way. That is out of this park for 6. Eun Chun is quite enjoying his time out in the middle. Ball sat up beautifully for the batter.
Oh, did he tee off on that? The line again for me is a little too straight, and that induces that specific shot. And so in the circumstances where you have a truncated game, it is that much more important for the bowlers to get the balls in the right area. And where that fielder is coming back from now, halfway to Austin, as you see 33 without loss after 3 overs. He's literally almost halfway to Austin to retrieve that ball. That is a truly tremendous strike from Eun Chun. You're a quarter of the way now through the innings. And my goodness, this is a really good fast start by these batters.
Another change in bowling. Probably not the worst idea to just take Nostos Kenjigi off for a little while. I'm sure we might see a little bit more of him a little bit later in the innings, but at the moment they've got to try and change things up to try and pick up these 2 wickets. They need to break this partnership. Ambitious, and it's not gone the way that he would have liked. That's going to be the first wicket down. The change in the bowling has worked, and Columbus Falcons will feel a little bit relieved. It is the youngster that's been brought on to pick up this wicket.
Well, Ritwik Apidi is your bowler, and my goodness, if you have just struck 19 runs from an over, and the over before that went for 13, things are going well. You don't need to try to scoop the new bowler. To me, that is ambitious is, I think, the exact word. Reckless might be a little too strong, but things were going along well. You were going at the rate of 11 runs and over, even after having only conceded 2 runs in the first over. But the next 2 overs were really productive for you. You went for 31 in 2 overs, and the first thing that you do is play that scoop shot, to me, unnecessary. So he'll be a little bit disappointed with that shot, that choice of shot. And that is the end of him with the bat.
I'll try and see if we can get another look at that delivery, that wicket-taking delivery. Now this delivery, he's followed the batter, saw the batter move very early, made his intentions very clear that he wants to try and ramp this over the keeper. And this is intelligent bowling from the youngster, because he's just followed the batter and cramped him for room. Very hard to do for a pace bowler, especially while you're running in and you're in your delivery stride.
100% agree with you. There's so many things that are in your mind as a pace bowler when you're running in, but if you see the batter backing away to try to scoop you, to be able to follow him, that is really expertly done.
Very straight again, and this will run away for yet another maximum. I thought that might have been a 4, but it has in fact gone all the way over the ropes for 6. Not the worst of deliveries, and it wasn't a lot of control there.
See where the line is on this. I want to look at this. Yeah, too straight. I'll tell you what, though, there is pace in this wicket, because he was trying to play that to fine leg, and it actually went to deep third for 6. Not by a whole lot, almost landed right on the rope, but that's a lot of pace in the wicket for the ball to carry that far on the bounce. In fact, not bouncing all the way for 6. Tremendous delivery, to be said. New batter Mohamed Khan is what it looks like. Well, that went where he wanted it to go. Off the middle of the bat. The previous one was a leading edge that went to deep third for 6. This is a solid clip over square leg for the second consecutive maximum.
Control.
Oh.
In absolute control, and his balance was impeccable through it. Saw that the line was down leg, didn't overhit it, and that was key.
Oh my goodness, that was beautiful.
And all of a sudden, an over that started well with a wicket has gone for 12 runs.
Wow.
2 straight again, and well fielded for just the single. Got to try and adjust that line here, Ritvik.
Yeah, I think it's easy to say. And by the way, you see the umpire right now signaling that after 4 deliveries in this over, that is the 4th, that's the end of the power play. So they can be a little bit more defensive in the field settings now. Here are the 6s, coupled there. This one to me is beautiful. Absolutely brilliant. But you've now gotten to the end of the power play. 2 balls remaining in over number 4. You can be much more defensive. So Esan Adil is now down at deep fine leg. Deep square leg in position. So that tells me he'll be continuing to bowl a leg stump line. I don't know that that's the best choice here. Time to get started. Here we go again.
Tucked away, and they'll pick up a single. A few more gaps in the field with the end of the power play, so we'll see a little bit more rotation of strike now.
You would think. And again, starting with the field set the way it is, it's a 5-4 field, 5 on the off, 4 on the leg. So that tells you who's going to be bowling relatively straight. But the length was a lot better, not full enough. The previous delivery that was hit for 6 was too full, but this one is a good defensive length that just induced that single.
Picked up beautifully again, goes inside the line of the delivery, and this is a top shot. Mohammed Khan has finished the over with another maximum. It's 4 overs gone, 53 for 1. Brings up the half century in style for his side.
Once again, the leg stump line is what is the undoing here. And I talked about that before. Yes, the previous delivery was a little bit shorter, so that did not induce that big shot. But for me, concentrating outside the line of off stump is a better option than bowling so straight. Essentially, you're setting a very defensive field with 4 on the leg side. I'd prefer to see an additional man on the offside and then bowl an off stump line, because that, obviously, any over that goes for 20 is one that you'd prefer to not have. And even though he did take a wicket with that first ball, or took a PD, he'd want to me, keep that ball outside the line of off stump, induce the batters to play on that side of the field. New bowler. Okay, look at there's the wicket. Just highlights from that last over. Now this is a lovely delivery. It goes for 6. This is a lovely shot. Also goes for 6. And then here, that to me is just too straight. Hammering it away for 6. So new bowler into the attack. It's going to be Kunwarjit Singh. He's wearing the wrong shirt, because that does not look like Kunwarjit Singh. Akhtar Shah is exactly who that is. No, my apologies.
No, sorry, it's not. It's not.
It is Akhtar Shah. I'm almost 100% sure that's Akhtar Shah. And to me, his job now is to slow down or stop the bleeding. Good first delivery, just a single into the outfield to start. But to me, he needs to be on that off stump line. Anything too straight, you've seen go for plenty runs so far. 54 runs already on the board.
I mean, you're a native of Texas.
Native is a strong word, but I live in Texas, if that's what you're asking.
Well, I think you've lived here longer than I've been alive. Isn't that right?
Yes, that's very, very correct, yes.
Well bowled, just inside that white line, and also takes a bit of that pace off as well. Now, coming from north of the US, coming from Canada, and looking at the amount of talent that you have here in the US, it's quite impressive. Each and every one of these teams, a little bit different than what we had seen the makeup of the teams last year, but you can see the amount of talent with each of these teams. It just goes to show why the US is consistently putting out very strong senior sides. This World Cup wasn't as impressive as they would have liked. I'm sure they would have liked to pick up a few more wins. But you could still see the strength in the side, and you can see the depth, and you look at your selections, and it must be a very tough call for your selectors because you've got so much talent and ability in the country.
There is so much talent. On the field right now, there are 2 U.S. players. In fact, 3 U.S. players, Ehsan Adil, Nosh Kenjige, and Monang Patel, the captain of the U.S. team. There are so many players who are on the outside looking in. I'd put Unmuk Chand in that category, who just really very talented but just can't break into the side, which to me is exactly, as you mentioned, a measure of how strong the bench is in addition to the team itself that's on the field.
I mean, the weather certainly plays a big role in that. You're able to play your cricket almost all year round. Minor league has been a game changer for the development of cricket, not just for the seniors, but also for the juniors. And then Major League just tops it up because it gives you that pathway all the way to the top and the exposure to talent and top level players from all around the world. So all in all, a very good setup, a very good pathway for you players. Oh, he's missed out here. Full toss, looking to come down the track again, Unmuk Chand. He's done that twice now. It just gives himself a bit too much room. If he gets a little bit closer to the line of the delivery, he will be able to get bat on ball.
You saw that him slapping his bat onto his pad in frustration there. So he thinks that he should have gotten something on that. But take nothing away from the bowler himself, Akhtar Shah. That line is a good one, and it's full enough to not allow Unmuk Chand to get underneath it. So let's see what this last ball looks like.
That would have been a wide, but he has managed to get some bat on it. And an excellent over comes to an end. Just 5 runs coming off of it. Slows the momentum down as well. 5 overs gone. 58 for 1.
Easily the best over for a while. 2 runs came from the first over for the Baltimore Royals. But then after that, 12, 19, and 20. So to then have an over where you only concede 5 runs, first one ball by Akhtar Shah, is a really good one. Yeah, exactly. Reverse sweep from the first ball. Reintroduction of Nosh Kenjige into the attack. Unmuk Chand loves playing that shot. 4 runs to start over number 6.
I don't think it's just that he enjoys playing that shot. I think he enjoys the bowling of Kenjige because he's now laced a couple more runs off of him, and the expensive spell continues. Under a lot of pressure, Nosh Kenjige.
Well, if he goes too straight, the traditional sweep is in position. If he goes too wide, the reverse sweep. So under those circumstances, I don't know that Nosh Kenjige shouldn't just target the base of leg stump with a quick flat one.
Goes wider, and he's done well to get to the ball, but he hasn't done well enough. Actually, I think this is going to be a 6. The fielders just overstepped that boundary rope.
I tell you what, it did well to judge it. It's actually a false shot. But look at this. catch, and boy, you've just got to keep that foot inside the ropes. That is a catch. Kunwarjeet Singh is a fielder out there. Most fielders nowadays are able to not have that happen, but it goes for 6.
Reversed and straight to the fielder. He's got a lifeline here, Unmukchan. That should have been taken, and Kinjigi should have picked up a wicket.
It was a good ball. I don't know if we have time to go back to it, maybe after this ball, but it was wide of off stump. Unmukchan using the feet, trying to get to it, doesn't really get to the pitch, and it went far enough, but really that catch should have been taken.
Fired in this time, very full. And just pulling that momentum back. That is going to be by.
Here again, see where he plays that from. That would have actually been a wide had he not been able to play it. And then just not quite knowing where he was on the field, Kunwarjeet Singh. He would want to have taken that one.
But he did make the adjustment on Mukchan. Got closer to the ball this time.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder if he's listening.
Well, you can do worse than listen to the words of a 15-year Canada player, Monala Patel.
I suppose. But you know, it's always easier to give advice.
This is very true.
But that's the thing about batters, isn't it? Or I shouldn't say just batters, but good athletes making adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got so much experience. 6 overs gone. It's 70 for 1. We talk about good players separating from the average players because of that one reason. They're constantly analyzing what they're doing. And there we see again, he's gone a little bit closer to the delivery this time than the first 2 times that he's chipped down the wicket. And awful as a bowler to see that. Creating the opportunity, should have had the wicket. Instead, it goes for 6 runs.
Boy, yeah, he will want to have taken that. So, by the way, with regard to the bowlers, with a typical T20, each bowler is limited to 4 overs. Well, in a 12-over match, 2 bowlers get to bowl 3 overs each, and 3 bowlers bowl 2. So, part of the structure will be seeing who bowls which. Akhtar Shah back into the attack.
That is through the gate. And what a delivery this is. The top of the stumps, the bails have been dislodged, and that's going to be wicket number 2. Akhtar Shah creating a lot of pressure in his first over, comes back for a second, and picks up a wicket off the first delivery.
Quick delivery. And top of middle is where this one is going. Look at this. Really, seam movement is what does him there, because the ball, I want to see that again. That is expertly done. That ball was on an off stump line, but it pitches and moves in off the seam to take the top of leg stump. That is beautiful. Look at this again. We'll hopefully get the chance to see it shortly. But that's the end of Mohammad Khan. Expert piece of bowling from Akhtar Shah.
Trying to keep in the game. You see Manak Patel sharing a few words as well. A lot of captaincy experience there.
Oh my goodness, yes. Okay, so here's, look again. Pitching and the inward movement off the seam does him. Absolutely brilliant. I'll tell you what, there's not very many batters on the planet who can keep that ball out, because at pace with that seam movement, look at this again. That dances off the seam, and that is an unplayable delivery. Expert stuff from Akhtar Shah.
Just clawing their way back into the game. Columbus Falcons. We're just halfway, so certainly in for a very exciting game here. Over 11 runs and over the current run rate. Cricket's changed a bit since your days, hasn't it? The strike rates certainly have. The run rates.
when I played, and I'll finish that thought in just a second because that's an important point that you just made. To me, my captain would tell me in an 8-over spell, if I gave more than 20 runs, he's disappointed in me. 20 overs or 20 runs now is what these guys get in 2 overs, or maybe 1. So look at this again. Boy, good delivery. Just waving outside the line of off stump, trying to reach at that one. Jaskaran Malhotra is your new batter, by the way. And gets a good ball to start. Excellent stuff so far from Akhtar Shah.
Played into the offside, and this is excellent running. They will come back for 2 runs.
Well, it's not always the best idea to take on a big fast bowler in the outfield. Fast bowlers typically have very strong throwing arms, but that one just evading. Look how close this comes to being a run out. Look at this replay. Esanadil fielder, bullet arm, and look at this. Oh, he's comfortable, but his heart would have been in his mouth there at the last second.
I mean, you talk about 20 runs in 2 overs, sometimes 1 over the way T20 cricket is, but it just goes to show the whole pace of the game has changed so much, especially for the associates where we play a little bit of 50-over cricket, a lot of T20 cricket, and nothing longer than that anymore.
Yep.
Up in the air. And it will land safely. I'm not really sure what happened there because quite a distance away from Kunwar in the deep, and it was up in the air for a long time as well.
It was, but give credit to Akhtar Shah. That was a pace-off delivery. So inducing a false shot from Jaskaran Malhotra. Look at this. Pace-off, and it's launched in the air, landing well short in the deep. So I don't know that that would have been a catching opportunity anyway, but it's a good piece of bowling. You are a hard taskmaster, Miss Manala Patel.
And we're talking about the aggression between the bowling and the batting. The fielding goes hand in hand with that. That's another facet of the game that's changed completely. We've brought in a lot of baseball style fielding into it. We've just gone are the days of those long barriers. Everything now is about attacking the ball and creating those opportunities.
Attacking the ball is certainly something that you want to see in the outfield. Now, earlier I said that there's a soft spot in the outfield, very soggy from the 2.5 inches of rain a couple nights ago. And I think you saw some evidence of it there. The ball essentially stopping as soon as it landed.
Pace off again. 7 overs gone. It's 75 for 2. Akhtar Ali has been effective for the Columbus Falcons.
Manala Patel, everything is bigger in Texas.
Yeah, that spider is massive in this comm box. I don't have a shot of it for you, but it is at least an inch.
It is a huge, gigantic spider.
You do inches, right, in the U.S.?
We do. We
do. I'm always confused because you switch everything up compared to the rest of the world here.
We do.
Miles.
That's our jam. That's what we do.
Fahrenheit. Just past the bowler's hand, and it should be a couple runs here. They have been excellent in between the wickets.
Yeah, new bowler into the attack. Yasir Mohammed, when I talked about USA players earlier, I forgot to mention him. He's also a player who's been around the USA setup for a while. Leg spinner. Boy, that ball is struck firmly, but easily could have been a return catch. Sometimes those stick. Yeah. This is an interesting matchup to me. Jaskaran Malhotra loves the area over extra cover. And so with a leg spinner bowling, turning the ball away from him, I would expect for him to try to exploit that huge gap that's in that direction right now.
Just losing all shape on that. Trying to get a lot of bat on it. He's done that a few times now, just a bit too early through the shot, just losing his shape.
By the way, that was a bye signal by umpire McVin Frederick. He does love the reverse sweep, doesn't he?
I tell you what, I think for this game, maybe we should shelve it just for now, because that very nearly was in the hands of the fielder.
Here's where I would respectfully, disagree is too strong a word, but here's where I would defend Unmukhchan playing that shot. Oh, I'll get back to that in a minute.
Are you sure you want him to play that shot? Because that right there, the conventional sweep has been top notch for him. He's been 10 out of 10 with that shot right there.
Now, in fairness, this is in toward his pads. Unmukhchan will always put those away. So if, as I was saying previously, if the ball is outside the line of off stump, it's a leg spinner, so the ball is turning away. It's actually a good shot to play a reverse sweep with final or short third inside the circle.
And I would agree with you if you are getting it out of the middle. He's now tried it 3-4 times now and very unsuccessfully. And there's a fielder there for that very shot. You know, I just sense that he might actually get out playing that shot today. Beats the fielder. This is poor fielding. And it's going to run away for 4 runs.
Yeah, that really should have been stopped, shouldn't it? That really is one that you want to stop. Nothing about that presented a difficult fielding opportunity. It's to his left, he's a right-hander, so maybe you can make that argument. But this really does need to be stopped. And sometimes when you're having an ordinary day in the field, the ball follows you. That was Kunwarjeet Singh again. And not able to field that one. So running away for 4, good productive over, 8-8 for 2 after 8.
So you were telling me yesterday about city names that you guys have here. So this is called Space City. Is that right?
It's the nickname, not this. We're in Prairie View.
Okay, sorry.
Houston is Space. By the way,
I thought I was in Houston because that's where I landed.
Well, you landed in Houston, but the IAH, the airport, is a good hour away from here. You're in Prairie View.
Right, that's where you were supposed to take me yesterday, to NASA, because of the washout. And then you didn't.
Brian, the game is washed out. Can you take me to NASA? Can you be on the road for the next 6 hours? Is that all right, Brian?
That's a fair ask. As we continue.
Ritwik Apidi, rather, switching ends, now bowling from the forest end. 4 overs to go.
Into the pads, and this will go away for 4 more. He just hasn't gotten that line right. Apart from that first wicket that he picked up, he's been 2 straight. Just has to try and bring that line over. He's got the angle as well, which makes it even more easy for the batters to be able to put it away in the leg side.
I would agree with all of those comments. 7 deliveries that he's bowled, all 7 have been on leg stump or straighter. And so he got a wicket with 1. But everything else has been, to me, just a little bit too straight. Senior player, the captain, Sherrod Lumba, coming over and having a chat with him. And I think the chat would be, please use the players on the offside.
You think he said please?
We're in Texas. We're very, very polite like that.
Better line. This is miles high in the air.
Oh!
And that would have been an excellent take. Kenjige, full dive, one-handed. You've got to applaud the effort. Had it stuck, it would have been absolutely outstanding.
Nush Kenjige has always been one of the best fielders in the country. If there's any one player on the field who would have taken this catch, it would have been him. He almost pulls this off. Look at this. One-handed effort. Boy. That either sticks or it doesn't. And to have made up the distance to get to that catching opportunity is a feat in and of itself. Great stuff from Nush Kenjige.
That delivery is exactly what we've been talking about. Getting it outside that off-stump line. The length was good as well. Just pulls it back. A short smidge. Gets away with that. Had Unmuk Chan not been coming down the track, he would have been able to put this away. Don't often expect a full toss.
Have it replay again. Look at this at the very end. Oh my goodness. Full stretch dive. And he's left-handed, so he got the right hand or the correct hand to it, but just not able to close the fingers around the ball. A couple of inches off the ground. Excellent stuff from Nush Kenjige. This is as much, is that technically a drop catch? Would you classify that as a drop?
Yes. Good effort, nonetheless. Got to give him that. Two straight again and punished yet. Oh, no. We'll just wait on confirmation. At the moment, we're not sure if he's taken it. And for a second, it looked like it might have gone the distance.
It looked like it spilled. The body language to me says he didn't catch it. A lot of applause by the fielders who thought the catch was taken, but I think this is a drop. So we'll see a replay on this shortly as you see the umpires having a chat. But to me, this looks like a drop.
I thought with the wind, it would have actually gone the distance, but just falling short.
Once again, too straight on the line. But look at the very end of this.
That's down.
Yeah, that's
through
down.
the hands and into the ground. I'm really surprised that the fielder needed confirmation on that one.
We are 130 yards away. That looked like a drop in live view to me. So yet another drop. This one a little bit more straightforward than the one that we are crediting to Nush Kenjige. Ritu Kapidi really needs to find that line outside of off stump.
That's the line that we've been talking about. They won't mind the two that have been picked up right now. They won't mind the singles and doubles, but it's the boundaries that have been very expensive for the Falcons.
You're exactly right. 9 4s, 6 6s. So you're scoring 75% of your runs are being scored in 4s and 6s. So that's a decent power hitting. Overall scoring rate of 10.87. We've lost the graphic on the screen for the moment, but that is really good power hitting by the Baltimore Royals.
With, again, and in no control. And that is exactly what we've been talking about. You take the ball away from the batter, get them to reach for it, and that does bring another wicket.
When you bowl on the off stump or outside the line of off stump, good things happen. Look where this ball is. Well outside the line of off stump, induces the false shot, a very straightforward catch, and that is taken by the fact that it appears to be Akhtar Shah who took that catch. But my goodness, that is where you want to be as a bowler. Outside the line of off stump, and that is the end of Jaskaran Malhotra.
Again, Jaskaran Malhotra consistently losing shape on the shots. He wants to throw his bat, doesn't get anywhere close to it. And you could sense that the wicket was coming that way for him.
So now with 9 overs done, 3 left to go. Ritwika Pd has taken 2 wickets. I think it's fair to say that he's not bowled as well as he would have liked in terms of the length and the line, but when he gets the line outside the line of off stump, good things happen. That is almost always going to be the case, and you certainly want to see what happened there.
High up in the air. There are 2 fielders getting under it. Should be taken and is taken. Unmuk Chand will fall 5 runs short of his half century, and Ritwik is now on.
It's actually Yasser Mohammed who's bowled the first ball, so 2 and 2. So again, a leg spinner moving the ball away from the right-handed batter. Unmuk Chand coming down the track, not really getting anywhere near the middle of that ball. And it's skied in the air, and this is a good, sharp catch. Kunwarjit Singh has had an ordinary day in the field. I think it's fine, it's fair to say, but this is a well-judged catch. Very well judged, and all of a sudden you've gotten yourself in the position now where you switch the momentum a little bit back. This is a team hat trick that we're about to be on, with the new batter making his way to the crease.
Good couple of deliveries here for Columbus Falcons. They've picked up back-to-back wickets. And most importantly, it is Unmuk Chand that's back in the pavilion. He was looking dangerous. He's been leading the run scoring for the Baltimore Royals.
Neil Narvekar is your new batter, lefty. So he'll like the ball turning into him from the leg spinner. So no team hat trick, but a good passage of play here for the Columbus Falcons, pulling things back. 8 runs from the previous over and a wicket, and this over starting with first 2 balls yielding a wicket and just a single. So you're actually decelerating as you get to the end of the innings here, with the last 18, make that 16 balls to go.
Going to be a quick run here. They do get through pretty comfortably, but this is good bowling. A little bit flatter, keeping the ball away from the swinging arc as well. Had an excellent Houston Open last year. Yasser Mohammed. Up and over. Wow. And a top shot for 4.
Extra cover drive. You love seeing that. There's nothing prettier than a left-hander driving through the covers. This time it's an elevated extra cover drive. By the way, the batter at the non-striker's end is Ziaul Haq, who is more known as a fast bowler, opening fast bowler, left arm, but is actually a really good lower order hitter. So they'll be looking to, I think, get him on strike as much as they can as you get through these last 15 balls.
Better delivery, goes even wider, a bit more flat, more pace on that. Love enjoying watching the contest between bat and ball. And an excellent one to start, as yet again we see an unsuccessful reverse sweep. 10 overs gone, it's 102 for 4. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against the shot. I'm not. I have seen it played effectively on multiple occasions. And when it comes off, it looks great. But it's one of those shots that's actually very difficult to execute. And it's something that you've got to really work on and be able to make it as comfortable of a shot as you might your cover drive.
We've already established that I'm an old guy. So reverse sweeps and switch hits, those don't register for me at all. But in the context of this game and looking at field placements and where you can have your scoring opportunities, it can be a productive shot, provided, as you say, that you don't overuse it.
pulled him right through the gate. Nice and full going across the line. And manages absolutely no bat on this.
Akhtar Shah is making bowling look easy. The first delivery, earlier we said that there would be 2 bowlers who can bowl 3. Well, obviously one of those 2 is Akhtar Shah. And look at this first delivery. Bowling straight and just goes right through him. Really, I think Ziaul Haq wanting to play that one a lot straighter as opposed to going across the line. Going across the line, looking to play to mid-wicket. Playing to mid-on would have been a better option there. But take nothing away from Akhtar Shah. At this stage of the innings, that's what you want to be, full and straight. Wicket number 5 goes down with 102 on the board.
Credit to the bowlers here for the Falcons. What would have been a lot of runs on the board when it started, that momentum's just been pegged back. Full, straight, nowhere in position to play that delivery. And Ziaul Haq will find himself back in the pavilion.
Ravinder Singh will be at the wicket, and my goodness, both are lefties, Ravinder Singh and Neil Narvekar. Both similarly built. It'll be very difficult to tell them apart. Akhtar Shah will be looking to just repeat that last delivery, full and straight again.
I can tell you at least one of them is going to take offense to what you've just said.
They're similarly built, very, very similarly built.
One of them will say, "What are you talking about?"
Last 10 balls, this is me allowing that last comment to go through to the keeper. Last 10 balls of the innings coming up. Boy, Akhtar Shah to me has bowled really, really brilliantly. Looking to close out well here.
What a delivery. Coming into the left-hander. I was expecting to have that go down leg. 10 for 2, his bowling figures. In 2.3 overs.
Absolutely brilliant stuff. Look at this. Oh, on the pad. So appeal for LBW. Nothing at all about that LBW shot that would have made sense. Bouncing over the top and pitching 6 inches outside the line of leg stump. Apart from that, it's a good shout.
Mind games.
This is such good stuff from Akhtar Shah. Absolutely brilliant. Just 2 runs conceded in his last over. Has already taken a wicket. And this is exactly what you want from a young, strapping pace bowler.
The Royals are going to wonder if they could have utilized these last 3 to 4 overs better. They've lost too many wickets too consistently. Still think it's going to be an excellent run chase.
Well, you do have 10 wickets and you only have 12 overs, so the odds I think are in your favor as a batting side.
Top edge, and well taken. Manak Patel behind the stumps. Diving forward, just making sure that the umpire puts that finger up. And that's going to be a wicket number 6. It's Akhtar Shah who's picked up yet another wicket to his name. 3 wickets to his name today. It's 1 of 4 for 6.
Look at this short delivery. This is such a good delivery. Now here, it appears as though it has hit him on the helmet. The question to be asked is, did it clip the glove on the way through before it hit the helmet? And I think umpire Byron James was sufficiently convinced that that did tickle the glove before it ricocheted off the helmet, and so that's why that was given as a dismissal. Akhtar Shah, just brilliant stuff so far from him. You see on the replay again, it is a very awkward angle. Bowling over the wicket to a left-hander, angling it across him is always tricky. And then with the pace of Akhtar Shah, that makes it that much more of a difficult delivery. So last ball in over number 11, last ball of his spell here, Akhtar Shah, really done well to pull things back for his side. Ravi Singh.
Poor delivery. Well down leg. And he's been so excellent so far. I think we'll have to allow that one for him.
Well, that would have been a perfect delivery to the left-hander who he just got dismissed. But that line there going down the leg side, you don't want to ever bowl that line. Doesn't hurt him that much here. He does concede 2 runs, the wide and the one that they ran. But he will be bowling now a 7th delivery. Just his key now is to not make the 7th delivery hurt.
Change of pace and very well bowled to finish an excellent spell. 12 for 3 in his 3 overs, Akhtar Shah. He's done his job for his side. It's 11 overs gone, 105 for 6. Yeah, we missed the wide. The wide and the line.
The last over coming up. Ritvika Pidi is going to be bowling this last over, and he is going to be wanting to keep this ball outside of Amshid De Silva's off stump. If he learned anything from the last delivery that he bowled, outside the off stump is a better place to be. Scoop shot being attempted. He is begging and pleading, and he's given. Oh my goodness, that is about as long a delay between an appeal and a dismissal that you would have ever seen. Looking to play the scoop shot, Amshid De Silva. The appeal goes up. It went on for a good 4 or 5 seconds, and then finally umpire McVin raising the finger. Take a look at this. Tries the scoop. Healthy edge, looking at it here, and long wait. He's waiting, he's looking, he's thinking about it. What happened? And then he raises the finger. That took some time. I don't know that I've ever seen that length of time, but ultimately, umpire McVin Frederick with the right decision. So Amshid De Silva dismissed. So that is the 7th wicket down. 1-0 scorecard says 105 for 7. We may be off by a run, but in any event, 7 wickets are down, and after a really fast start with the bat, the Baltimore Royals, I think, are sputtering towards the finish line here. New batter is in. Neil Narvikar's at the non-striker's end, and the new batter on strike. We'll get exactly who that is in a second, but that's not going to be a good close to the innings. Last 5 balls coming up. Good stuff from Ritvika Pidi. Whipped away behind squares. Nash Kenjiga down there. They come back for the second. They'll get there eventually. So, last 4 balls. And Manala Patel, a lot has happened in the last few minutes, but fair to say that they're running and sputtering towards the finish line.
The required run rate isn't going to be too high unless they can find some runs in these last 4 deliveries. They were going at over 11 runs and over for most of these innings. Most of this innings, I should say. The Royals. Well bowled for a dot. Apiti just finding that right line that we've been talking about. I want to try and push that required run rate at least over 10 runs and over. Scoreboard pressure is a big thing when you're chasing.
I think you and I can agree that 9.3 and over in a 12-over match is not very challenging. And so they'll be disappointed that they didn't get something closer to that 120 mark. Still 3 balls to go.
Yeah, and you've got to just think that these conditions are only going to get easier to bat on as time continues. We're starting to see the overcast conditions starting to clear up. Those beautiful blue skies. As we take a look at that warm, and it's those last 4 wickets that have come in quick succession, over number 9 to over number 12, that have just pegged away at that momentum that they had early on. So in the second innings, you'd expect the batters should actually have better conditions to bat in. Leg side. And into the hands of the fielder. That's going to be wicket number 8. And again, excellent work from the Falcons. Ritwik Apiti will pick up his 4th wicket. This is an excellent comeback from the youngster.
Oh my goodness, yes. Catch taken in the deep by Shreyans Kolipaka. And look at this delivery again. Good delivery in the sense that it is an aggressive, a hostile type of delivery, inducing a false shot. False shot that still travels almost 60 yards, but that boundary at deep mid-wicket is just a little bit out of the reach of the batter. And a very straightforward catch taken in the deep by Shreyans Kolipaka. So wicket number 8 is down, and they are sputtering towards the finish line. Only 34 runs have come from the last 5 overs. And just 1 ball remaining here. I think they'll be disappointed with where they will eventually end up. Baltimore Royals. Let me see again. Look at this. And again, we talked about the fact that he was bowling too straight to the righties. This is actually not a bad delivery to the left-hander. Cramping him for room, going across him from over the wicket. So that's a good delivery from his standpoint. And then a very straightforward catch in the deep. Last wicket, or last ball rather.
Pretty similar fashion as well, both of the wickets that he's picked up. Both of them, yes, to the right-hander and to the left-hander, but it is that short ball that he's bowled very effectively.
Yep.
Cramping the room, or cramping both batters on both of those occasions to be able to get that leading edge into the deep.
Swipe and a miss. They'll run the bye. They may look for a second one. The new batter, Keshav Raval, and they end up closing out the innings with what I believe will be 2 byes. Or there's a signal from umpire McVin, but excellent stuff on the bowling side.
They will be proud of this effort. The Columbus Falcons pulled it well back, considering the start was really good for the Royals. Last delivery should have been just the single, but that was off the foot of the batter. I must say it is a bit poor sportsmanship to run a second on that.
On the last ball of the innings, I cannot imagine why they would not run. Sportsmanship has its limits, Manali.
Last I checked, we were playing cricket and not soccer.
I under no circumstances am I disagreeing with you. I'm just saying in that instance, they'd be running that second run. So 110 is where you end up. There's a full scorecard. Unmuk Chand, I think, batted really well. 45 from 26. Mohammed Khan, 23 from 9. Those two, for me, put on a really good partnership. 70. I'll make that 37. But then just ordinary figures all the way down. Look at the last 6 batters only scoring in single digits. So that tells you that they slowed down all the way through. And then the only other batter in double figures, Jaskaran Malhotra, only 13. The bowlers.
That 110 runs and 8 wickets to get there. Credit to the bowlers. Just wait for this bowling card. A lot of credit to the youngster. Ritvik Apidi picks up 4 wickets. Pick of the bowler has to be Akhtar Shah though. 3 wickets, an economy rate of just 4 runs, and a handy 1 wicket by Yasir Mohammed. Not a bad start by the 2 openers. Kenjigi a little bit expensive, but when we come back, the Falcons, they will need 111 from their 12 overs.
111, I think very doable under the circumstances. I think Baltimore Royals would have wanted to set a target around 130, but it will not be an easy chase. Really quick break for us here. The groundskeepers will do what they do, and we'll see whether or not the Columbus Falcons can overhaul a target of 111. We will be right back. Oh, highlights.
It just started very, very well for the Royals. Unmuk Chand taking on the bowlers. A few beautiful looking sweeps. Tried some reverse sweeps as well. That was the first wicket to go. Ravinder Singh just not getting enough bat on it, and a well-judged catch in the end. Apidi coming into the action after that first wicket, started to bleed in runs again. It was that leg side that was favored quite often. Created some opportunities as well. This should have been taken. Instead, just steps over the rope for 6. Excellent delivery this by Akhtar Shah. Top of the middle stump, and then some leg spin action. Another youngster into the attack, and then Apidi finally finding the line that he was looking for. Noshish Kenjigi not able to hold on that occasion, but created the opportunity. The runs, unfortunately, then just started to take a bit of a hamper. That one not taken, but another opportunity created. And then it was a procession of wickets as they got through down into the tail of this batting lineup of the Royals. Ziaul Haq and Neil was the next one to go. And again, creating those opportunities, Akhtar Shah, very economical, helped Apidi on the other end as well pick up the wickets because they were trying to target him instead of targeting Akhtar Shah's bowling, because he was spot on for most of his innings. That was the last wicket to fall. 111 runs needed from the 72 deliveries that the Falcons have in the second innings. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have the chase. Welcome back to the action. We are into the chase. 111 runs needed from 72 deliveries for the Columbus Falcons. An excellent first innings for them. At a point, looked like they might be looking at well over 130, 135 in these 12 overs, but the bowlers have done an excellent job for them to restrict this total to 111. The Royals, on the other hand, they will need to try and pick up some wickets and pick them up early. Especially because these conditions have just started to ease off. It's not nearly as windy as it was when we started. Overcast conditions clearing up as well. Starting to see some of those blue skies. It's Manali Patel alongside Brian Walters. I'm ready to take you through this action.
Ziaul Haq, left arm quick, easy action, and immediately spilling this one down or too wide of the batter, taking strike at the southern end of the ground, the highway end. Opening pair of Kunwarjit Singh and Shreyans Kolipaka. Kunwarjit Singh himself, who is on strike. Ziaul Haq is a brilliant bowler. High-level player, plays in the major leagues, played in the Pakistani domestic system for a number of years, and that added advantage of being a left-arm quick, moving the ball away from the left-handed batter. There was evidence of that away movement at time, finding the outside edge of Kunwarjit Singh's bat for the first run of the day, or the first run off the bat for the day.
We saw first over very slow from the Royals. Just took their time, got their eye in, and then a really good partnership between both of the openers. And you'd expect that you'll need something similar here from the Falcons. On the flip side, they probably don't want to lose as many wickets, especially once you cross that halfway point.
The advantage you have, as I believe this is going to be a bye, the advantage you have as a bowling side, in fact there is the bye signaled from umpire Myron James. The advantage you have as a batting side is what I should say, is that you know what your target is. So even though they started relatively slowly when they batted the Baltimore Royals, and then accelerated and then decelerated badly toward the back end of the innings, I think you've seen evidence that if you do what you need to do, you can get to where you want to get to in terms of what the target is, judging the runs well. You're able to see the ball coming onto the bat relatively nicely. Talked about the fact that earlier the pitch is, to me, in as good a condition as you can expect given all the rain that we've had around here in the Prairie View area the last couple of days. So as of now, I think the chasing side, the Columbus Falcons, are the ones with the advantage.
Well played. Just down the ground, an excellent awareness this. Both batters taking off for a quick single. Going full and straight though, targeting those stumps, keeping them in contention.
Boy, he's really good bowler. You see the left arm swing into the right-handed batter. That ball is curling in. Now it's still relatively damp in the outfield, so the ball won't swing for a very long time as it gets wet. But he has to take advantage of these deliveries while the ball is still new. Excellent stuff here. Just one ball remaining and already 4 runs up. Make that 5 runs on the board. I think you'll see evidence of really good stuff here from Ziaul Haq.
Speak about that wind, and you could just see on the shirts just how windy it is. Southeast to northwest A pretty strong breeze and an excellent first over to start the innings. 5 for none after 1. Take a quick look at the Manhattan from that first innings, and that first over is what we've been talking about. Pretty slow to start for the Royals, and then the next few overs they just continued to build the momentum. Mukchan played a very handy knock of 45 today. Fell 5 runs short of his half century, but he anchored the innings and he gave them an excellent start. We often talk about momentum in a tournament as players, and when you can start from game 1 and get a solid start, that momentum tends to carry through the rest of the tournament. Mukchan will be looking to do that. You know, you've mentioned that he's been waiting to crack into that US side, and every bit of this performance, every bit of these performances will have a handy push just to try and get him closer to that.
He's always been very easy on the eyes. Mukchan, very talented, high-level player, heralded from several years ago to be the next in the line of great Indian middle-order batters. This is cut away, going close to the boundary. Get a couple of runs here. Mukchan himself is the man behind the stumps who's doing the keeping. By the way, it's Neil Narvekar who is bowling. A little bit of off spin. I think the reason why you'd have a spinner bowling from the southern end is what we talked about earlier, the wind coming in from the southeast. Ball will hold up in the air.
That's going to be the first one, high up in the air and going against the wind. We've spoken about that wind factor. And as hard as that breeze has been blowing, you need to get it right out of the screws to be able to clear the fence. On this occasion, can't quite clear the infield. That's going to be the first wicket down, and it is the off spinner that brings it on.
Well, we did talk about the wind, but this has nothing to do with the wind. This ball is barely out of the 30-yard circle, so nowhere near the middle of the bat for Shreyansh Kolipaka. We'll be disappointed with that choice of shot. I don't know necessarily that it was a bad shot. Maybe just didn't quite get to the pitch. Maybe you'd have wanted to come down the track a little bit and get it closer to the pitch, but not really getting anywhere near the middle of the bat. Just a pretty straightforward catch. Look at this again. Stays rooted in the crease, swinging from the crease, when it is likely that had he come down another foot, or I'm sorry, another yard or so to get closer to the pitch, he'd have gotten more of that delivery and possibly elevated over the top of mid-on, as it is a pretty straightforward catch to mid-on. First wicket down, 7 for 1.
Lack of pace doing the trick early. And the Falcons, they find themselves in a bit of trouble here. They did win the toss. They chose to have a bowl first. It sounds pretty easy to say, just 111 to get from 12 overs. But when you lose early wickets, you really dig yourself into a hole early, and then leaves a bit too much work and too much pressure for the batters to follow. This is excellent work in the field.
Excellent work in the field and an excellent delivery. Very full, very straight. You're bowling inside the power play as a spinner, so that's always risky, but really good stuff here from Neil Narvekar.
Glorious. Up and over, right in the gap, and that's going to be a great way to finish what could have been an excellent over.
4 over the top of extra cover. Always good to see a batter driving in that direction. Look at this, maybe just a touch too wide for Neil Narveker, wanting that ball to be closer to the line of off stump. So even though the turn is into the right-handed batter, that was really not ever threatening the stumps, and easily put away, nobody in the deep at extra cover. An exact round number 100 needed from the last 60 balls.
Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy.
I do have a question for you, Manala Patel. That spider that we talked about earlier, where did it go?
Oh, it's right there. I've got eyes on it.
So you have eyes on the spider.
I am not taking my eyes off of that spider. It is massive. Onto the pads, and this is picked up, and this is put down. It's going to go away for 4 runs as well. That was struck really well, but it should have been taken in the deep. There was a fielder in that place for that reason.
Too straight, but look at this. Boy, you gotta take that. You have to take that. And in fairness, it was not a good delivery. It was slanted in toward the pads. You don't want to be that straight. But having had the fielder in that position, you really would have wanted him to have taken that catch.
Offside this time, and in the gap. This is well played. And what an effort this is in the deep. I think he has pulled that in. Just wait on confirmation, but that is the sort of fielding you want to see, unlike the ball before.
He definitely pulls this in. The question to be asked is, does his foot as he's sliding hit the rope? It'll be very close. This angle will tell you, oh, it's very close, but I think he does well. Excellent stuff in the deep. Oh!
1 bounce 4. And that's in the slot. Not the best of delivery this time. He's just spraying the ball all over the place at the moment. Hasn't quite found consistency in his line or length.
The length is the problem this time. I think it's landing probably just about a foot outside the line of off stump. I'm sorry, inside the boundary. And now there's a change because he's bowling that same length, probably because he's dropped mid-on back to long-on. So expect him to be full and straight.
Well, it was definitely full, and it was a full toss. This is going to be 4 more. A very expensive over. Just giving away that pressure that they had built with that early wicket. This is poor bowling. And unfortunately, from a captaincy perspective, you cannot change the field every single delivery on bad bowling.
It's very interesting. Ziaul Haq is a great bowler ordinarily. To me, this last one, this over it really, it's not really gone the way that he would have wanted it to. That's better. That's what you expect from him. Yes, he bowls the fuller length because he generally swings the new ball, but that time it's a more defensive delivery, inducing a single, but essentially cutting down the flow of boundaries that have been in this over so far.
Interestingly enough, I also find that since the second innings has started, the outfield has just slowed down, and you would expect that it should quicken considering the sun is out and it's had a bit more time to dry.
It's very dependent on the exact portion of the outfield. As you look at your screen, the area to the top, in fact, as we are looking at the screen right now, the area right here in front of the camera is very wet and very moist. The other areas of the field are a little bit more dry.
Good couple of last deliveries to end the over. An expensive one comes to an end. 3 overs gone, 27 for 1.
So 16 runs came from over number 3. Over number 3 in the first innings yielded 19 runs. Over number 2 in this innings yielded 6. Over 2 in the first innings yielded 12. So there's a little bit of symmetry about the way that this chase is developing, very similar in pace to the innings in the first innings. Incisive commentary from Manali Patel. Manali, if quick look at the highlights here, drive over the top, 2 straight, 2 that really should have been taken, but this is 2 full, and then this one's also 2 full and straight. So a lot of runs coming from that over, 16 of them in all. The question to be asked is, if you have your own Manali Patel win predictor, what does that win predictor say as of right now?
I do think it's still very early days. Plenty of overs to come in this innings. Manhattan's still very close to each other. The only difference is they've lost 1 early wicket, but if I can judge it at all from that previous over, I just feel like this game is still very in check and in balance.
Well, Aryan Batra is your bowler, the 3rd bowler being used, bowling the 4th over the innings. The action is thick and heavy in the commentator's booth as the spider is apparently limbering up. Coming in 2nd change, I believe. My win predictor as of right now says 52 bowling side, 48 batting side. Very, very close, but I just give the edge to the bowling side.
Excellent. Up and over through the offside, and it's a couple bounces, 4 runs. Width on offer, length there as well for that shot.
That line will not trouble any top order batter, especially a top order batter who is batting with the offside wide open. So very wide and very much inviting that type of shot. You're going to want that ball to be more on the line of off stump as opposed to being that wide. And Aryan Batra will know that that ball needs to be a little bit straighter.
Low full toss, just a single. Just feel that the bowling side is going to have to find some wickets to keep themselves in the game. Because the more that the batters set themselves up, they will then find that comfort zone to be able to continue this onslaught of runs. And on par with the required run rate as well at the moment.
When the inning started, the required rate was 9.25. The required rate is now 9.18. So you're certainly in the range that you need to be. Question to be asked is, can you find a way of prizing out a wicket? You'd want to get, for example, the captain Shard Lumber. Shard Lumber 7 from 5, just starting to get going. You see the signal from umpire McVin, 3.4 overs. That signals the end of the power play, so you can be more defensive now. There's a fielder, a deep 3rd, deep point, and long off. So you're expecting the line to be outside the line of off stump. Oh, my apologies. It's left-handed batting. So everything I just said, reverse it.
Too early through that shot, in the air, and it is going to land safely. Extremely early through that shot and in no control.
Well, it did surprise him, it seemed like. Was not expecting the short delivery from Aryan Batra. So give him credit for that, Aryan Batra. And just 1 ball remaining in this over. Already conceded 8. But you're looking at where you are now. You're wanting to make sure, as we see a flock of parakeets flying overhead, Manali Patel. Don't see very many parakeets in Canada, I would think.
No, we just like our Canada goose. They're our secret weapon.
Secret weapon.
Vicious animals, you know those? Canada geese.
I was in New Zealand for a test match last December, and I was surprised to see that they have Canadian geese in New Zealand. They're invasive. Just the most random thing that you'd expect.
Pulled away in the gap and all the way, in fact, 6 runs. The line has continued to be a struggle. 4 overs gone, 41 for 1.
I'll tell you what, I was about to criticize the line. That's actually more inventive batting from Sherrod Lumba, who walks Sherrod Lumba walks across, helps himself to a ball that would have been outside the line of off stump, but him walking across effectively makes it a ball on his pads, and you still have to put it away, and he elevated it over the leg side. Not bad batting at all, and a really good piece of expert cricket. 14 runs come from over number 4, so 41 on the board, just 70 needed in the last 48.
That required run rate has now dropped to under 9 runs and over as well. So, are you serious? Canada geese in New Zealand? Do you know how far New Zealand is from here?
I was blown away by that. I actually asked the question, why are there Canadian geese here? And something interesting, most of the animals in New Zealand were imported.
Why would you ever want to import a Canadian goose?
So if you're going to import something cool like a parakeet.
I mean, they
a
are
roseate spoonbill, if you will.
They're monstrous birds, I'm telling you. We are scared of them. Especially springtime, you do not want to cross paths with one of them. You know how bad it is. I'll tell you after this delivery.
All right. Amsha De Silva, it looks like, who's going to be bowling from the northern end of the ground.
Down the ground, 1 bounce to the fielder. It's so bad with the Canada geese. University of Waterloo have actually created an app that tracks on campus where their nests are to avoid them.
Are you serious?
They are very territorial birds.
Well, I don't want to turn this whole thing into a bird conversation, but when I was walking in New Zealand, a couple of them did try to attack me. So I completely agree with you.
It's so un-Canadian. Well bowled. Good length as well. Just waiting on that delivery as they pick up a single. Tell you what, I know you guys are trying to get us to be the 51st state.
Oh,
but
here we go.
But just consider yourself made aware that the geese are ready.
Secret weapon. Secret weapon.
Oh, that's a top edge, leading edge, high up in the air, and it is the keeper's catch. That's going to be wicket number 2. Amsha De Silva will get another breakthrough here early into the attack and picks up a wicket to his name. The momentum, and now swings again.
That is really well bowled. Pace off. Watch this replay. Goes pace off and then just skying in the air. And Unmuk Chand with a very straightforward catch. Never going to put that down. And you wanted to break the partnership. And the fact that you've gotten rid of Kunwarjit Singh, I think is a good piece of, it's a good development for you. Kunwarjit Singh is a dangerous batter. He can put his team that much closer toward victory, but wickets falling will always slow the run rate down. Run rate has now snuck back up above 9. He said earlier that it was down below 9. It's now going back above 9, and with the fall of the wicket, you'd expect for it to keep being a little bit more difficult for the batting side.
Again, we talk about that contest between bat and ball, and this is what you want to see. That momentum swinging from batting side to bowling side.
Oh, back of the hand slower ball. That is, I did not, I realized it was a slower ball, didn't realize it was a back of the hand slower ball. I don't know if we can see that replay again. That was expertly done by Amsha De Silva. That was brilliant.
Not an easy delivery to
No,
bowl.
it's not.
but very deceptive and clearly works on that occasion.
Here it is again. Watch the back of the hand. There. That is so brilliant. Really, really well done. That's the old Courtney Walsh slower ball. Toward the back end of my playing days, that was my slower ball.
He did say hi, by the way.
Did he?
Yes.
Awesome. Courtney Walsh is a great man.
Legend.
I mean, he's Jamaican. How could he not be? New batter is in. Oh my goodness, this is good stuff. So Amsha De Silva is a brilliant bowler, plays in the minor leagues for the Kings 11 Dallas, and has also been signed by the Texas Super Kings in the MLC. So you'll see him in action in June of this year when the MLC kicks off in Dallas.
You've added an extra venue as well this year, haven't you? For MLC.
It's not extra, as that's clipped into the leg side for a single. The old Oakland Coliseum baseball stadium.
I thought you've added an additional venue to what you had last year.
Oh, okay. In LA. Yes, you're exactly right. Yes, completely. So the games will be in Dallas, at Oakland Coliseum, and at this new facility in LA, which I have not yet seen, but I've heard really good things about.
Well played. Soft hands, just can't quite get it in the gap. Infrastructure is vital when you're building a sport.
Oh my God, yes.
5 overs gone, 44 for 2. We look at the infrastructure up and coming in the US, and it is leaps and bounds ahead of a lot of the associate countries. Unfortunately, funding is something that things come down to when you're building infrastructure. As we take a look at the Worm, just losing momentum there. 2 wickets. And they haven't quite been able to get that run rate to stick because of those 2 wickets.
44 for 2 after 5. At the equivalent stage in their innings, the Baltimore Royals were 58 for 1. So you've lost another wicket and you're 14 runs behind. So that certainly puts you in, for me, a much better spot. Earlier I said the bowling side 51-49. It feels like 60-40 toward the Baltimore Royals at this stage.
So how much of an impact is the LA 2028 Olympics having when it comes to developing this infrastructure and the sport?
That's a very legitimate question and a loaded question, because I think it exposes some of our, let's call it, frailties. We do a very good job of preaching to the choir. And so people like you and me will always know that cricket is being played in the Olympics because we talk about it in cricket circles. I'd like to see a wider net cast where you go into the Little League baseball stadiums or Little League baseball leagues, and even football or other nationalities or other ethnicities other than those who already know cricket. I'd like to see more of an effort to say, hey, look, this sport has been being reintroduced into the Olympics. It'll be in LA in 2028. You'd be absolutely wanting to take part in that. I'd like to see more of that effort. You don't see enough of it for me. And that's me getting off the soapbox as we speak.
Looking for the caught behind, or the catch, I should say.
Yeah, clearly a bump ball.
Down the ground, straight as an arrow as well, and it will run away for 4. Just enjoyed seeing the little smirk on his face after he asked, how is that? Just to see if he's caught the umpire off guard on that bump ball.
Take a look at this again. In fact, that's the 4. Well struck, over the top. And even with the wet outfield, the ball still goes away for 4. Agni Chopra, your batter. And it's going to be Sarbjit Ladda, who is the leg spinning lower order batter, but his essentially claim to fame is his leg spin ability. Here's seeing the replay. Look at the bump ball. Clearly.
And hang on, there's the smile.
I knew. Hey, you get to ask the question, right?
It never hurts to ask. I say this to the girls that I coach as well. It never hurts to ask.
Yep. Yeah, that right smile told you everything you needed to know, didn't it?
Because, even if it's not out, just mentally, you've just kind of put a little bit of doubt in the batter.
Sure.
I mean, short, 2 straight, pulled away for 4. Despite the effort in the deep, it was a poor delivery.
Yeah, that's generally a long hop. Amsha De Silva doing his best there, but I want to see that replay again. He released that ball from about 24 yards. Look at this replay if we get to see it again, because it was the old 25-yarder. Look, he's well behind the crease, but maybe if he'd been on the crease where it should have been, that wouldn't have been as short as it was.
I did see Gerard Erasmus do that very effectively in the World Cup for Namibia.
That's his stock ball sometimes, Gerard Erasmus. We've seen him here in the Houston Premier League over the years, in the Houston Open.
Just want to see if we can... Played beautifully through the offside. Just want to see if we can get a close-up of the keeper. Now, that strap is not strapped on. And the reason why I want to see if we can get a look of it is when it's as windy as it is, and that strap might hit some part of the helmet, and it might coincide with a close ball to the edge of the bat. I think it just causes a bit of doubt for the umpire because you don't know where that sound's come off of. All right, mind you, we don't have stump mics here.
Right.
Leg side gets away with it. And it's going to be a dot to end the over. 6 overs gone, 54 for 2.
That is a good catch by you, Manali Patel, because any amount of sound can be misinterpreted by the umpire. So that's something to pay attention to. Summary there, halfway through the chase, 54 for 2. 54 runs on the board, 57 runs needed. So what you're wanting now is a partnership. You want to develop something along the lines of what you saw in the middle overs when the Baltimore Royals are batting. As you see those white buildings, if you will, those get smaller toward the back end of the innings. And so if you're the batting side, you tell yourself, okay, maybe we might be slightly behind, but we have the ability to make up because of the fact that when the Royals batted, they slowed down toward the back end of their innings. So something to pay attention to. Earlier I said 60-40. I'm going to change once again back to 51-49. Still in favor of the bowling side.
Yeah, I really don't think that's how it works. You can't keep changing your mind like that.
No, it's an interactive, ongoing process. If you ever watch the win predictor, the probability that changes after every ball. And here we go. There's a question for you. 51-49 for the bowlers.
Constant change. Wide. Just strays down leg. And it's going to get through all the way for 4 runs as well. Unlucky. Unmuk Chan just a bit frustrated behind the stumps.
Yeah, 5 bonus runs. Those are just free runs, aren't they? Unmuk Chan, his reaction there tells you everything you need to know. 5 bonus runs in a close chase that makes all the difference in the world.
I'm just looking from your angle when you're seated on that chair. When you're tall, you can see over this, but once I'm sitting at that level, I can't really see much at all on the ground. So I've just got to be a little bit elevated.
Interesting that first ball of the over, Unmuk Chan was keeping up to the stumps for the bowler, Aryan Batra. After that ball sprayed down the leg side, immediately goes back to his conventional position behind the stumps, about 15 or so yards. So you take a single down the ground. You'll accept that from your bowler. You don't want to concede anything more than that. You certainly don't want to have the ball sprayed down the leg side.
It's such a tough position to field as well, isn't it? Such a specialty position to be a wicketkeeper. I tell you what we saw during the Ashes recently from Alex Carey behind the stumps. Cut away and well fielded. To some of those pacers, it was absolutely outstanding.
I introduced you earlier to excuse me, the umpire who was on the other field, Cameron Best, and I told you he was my captain. And every once in a while the opportunity came up for me to keep, and I said I'll keep, but I'll also need to keep a first slip in because somebody needs to help me up after each ball. That's a good looking shot, but again, these are singles. You will accept singles all day, every day. You gave up 5 bonus runs to start, but after those 5 wides down the leg side, 3 straight singles, how he closes out the over here, Aryan Batra, is what will be important.
Bit of width on offer, and again we'll just find the fielder, and this required run rate is just starting to climb here. Still trying to keep in check of that required run rate, but the closer we get, you just feel they need a couple of boundaries here to release some of that pressure. That was a really interesting conversation that we had with your former captain. He did mention you only occasionally manage the bouncer. Leading edge, high up in the air. And this might be a run out. Oh dear, it's a comedy of errors out in the middle. What should have definitely been a wicket has ended up as a single.
The story there for me, when this ball lands, look, when this ball lands, it literally does not bounce at all. That's how wet the outfield is. Look at this, when it lands, it literally just sticks in the ground. So, yes, that could easily have been a run out, should have been a run out, a better throw. The throw was a short hop.
All the bowler had to do was take his hands to the stumps. Throw was good. Beaten again, way too early through the shot, and the change of pace is working for Aryan. A dot ball to end a good over. 7 overs gone, 64 for 2.
So, Manali Patel, you talked about the importance of good fielding. Fielding can be as important as either bowling or batting. Interestingly, nothing to do with this tournament, but when I did a tournament in Grand Cayman a couple of weeks ago, the Argentinian captain mentioned that their best weapon is their fielding. He rated their fielding as being more important than either their bowling or their batting, which tells you how important it is and how much it can be the difference in a game of this magnitude.
I can completely change a game. And it's not just changing a game, but it's just the overall energy level on the field. You know, you get a couple of good fielding efforts and all of a sudden everyone's pumped up, everyone's chirping again, everyone is upbeat. And body language just starts to change.
You are 100% accurate about that. Now, as a bowling side, you certainly want your fielders to be behind you. It's now going to be a new bowler, Keshav Raval. Left arm orthodox. Falling behind a little bit here. Columbus Falcons required rate now up above 9. That single takes your required rate now to 9.52.
So I'm maybe you could shed some light on this for me. Manak Patel, one of the top order bats for the U.S. side. Is there a reason why we haven't seen him come out to the middle yet?
I remain flummoxed at that very question. Manak Patel is a legitimate international level top order batter. So you would think in the Houston Open he'd be in the top 3 or 4. But in fact, the number 4 batter, Agni Chopra, is the impact player, if I'm not mistaken.
There's the reverse, and very nearly in the hand of the fielder yet again. Yeah, that's the look, and I share that look with you.
Well, you've been talking about that all day. Reverse sweep. Jaskaran Malhotra, one of multiple wicketkeeper batters who played in this game, and also a former U.S. player. I think you've seen evidence that, boy, he really would have wanted to have a wicket there. So Keshav Raval, left arm orthodox, falling behind in the run rate here, the Columbus Falcons. Sliced away, beats the fielder behind point, running toward the boundary and getting there. And that is a welcome boundary. Have not had one of those in a while. Only 8 boundaries and 1 6 struck so far in the innings. But the problem there with that delivery for me is just a little bit too wide, and even in the slow outfield. 2.5 inches of rain over the last couple of days here in the Prairie View area, but that ball still with the legs to get to the rope. So you want to make sure that you keep scoring. Sharad Lumba, 27 from 15, Agni Chopra 9 from 10. Get that ball on the line of off stump. That's better. Lofted in the air. Well, I'll tell you what, the line was good, but the length was maybe just a little bit too full, and it goes over extra cover for a 6. So that is the second 6 struck in the day so far. Sharad Lumba now up to 33 from 16. You want that line, but you certainly don't want that length. It's in the slot, and from that angle, going across the batter, but wanting that ball to be more on a short of length type of length, as opposed to being in the slot. This is in the slot, and it's expertly put away by Sharad Lumba. So how do you close this over out? Still 2 balls to go. 12 runs conceded in the over so far. Oh, there's the comeback ball. That's what you wanted. Quicker, flatter, knocks back the middle stump. Got punished the previous delivery, but comes back well here to take the big wicket of Sharad Lumba. 33 from 17 is what he ends up with, but my goodness, what a big wicket this one is. His frustration showing as he walks off the field. And look at that line right in, look at where that ball pitches. It almost pitches on the popping crease. It's a lot fuller, not in the slot. The previous delivery was in the slot. This one a lot straighter, but importantly, a lot fuller to get under the attempted drive. And that is wicket number 3, a big one. 76 for 3. 1 ball remaining here in over number 8, but that has broken a partnership that was starting to look like it was going to be very dangerous. Boy, we'll see what happens the rest of the way here, but the fielding side has just landed a pretty big body blow. New batter making his way to the crease now. This is going to be Manak Patel, who we just talked about earlier. Manak Patel, who is a top order batter and the USA captain. Replay tells you that Sharad Lumba looking to play that ball to mid-wicket, but not quite getting a hold of it. The reason he did not get a hold of it is because it was too full. Again, landing almost on the popping crease, Yorker length, and getting through the defenses of Sharad Lumba. Manak Patel, very, very dangerous batter. Again, the captain of the USA cricket team. Manak Patel is going to want to keep his team probably going in the direction that they just were. Pulling that required rate back a little bit. It's now back on the 9. 35 runs needed. Going into the last 25 balls. Played into the offside. Cannot get a single there. Good fielding there from the captain. Ravinder Singh does the work. So it started out being an expensive over, but ends with the big wicket. 12 runs come from the over. End of over number 8, 76 for 3. That Manhattan tells the story as we welcome back to the, I almost said the pavilion, to the commentary box. Manali Patel, should I even ask you what your win predictor is right now?
No. I'm still going to say it's very even Stevens, partly because you've now just got the likes of Monak Patel out in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So while they've lost a few wickets, I still feel with the likes of his experience, he can try and stabilize this. Plus, when we look at the current run rate with the required run rate, they're on par at the moment. So a couple of wickets could change that, or a couple of boundaries could sway that. So I think it's still very even on both sides.
Well, it's the last 24 balls. Amshad De Silva with the ball in hand. Saw him take a wicket earlier. Bowled very well. Bowled with pace, but also bowled. You saw that brilliant back of the hand slower ball. So he is somebody who you would think he bowled 1 over. He might be one of the bowlers who would be asked to bowl 2 or 3 rather. So a long way to go here in the sense that you still have another 34 runs to get, but you have 7 wickets in hand. In theory, the odds are with the batting side if they don't lose wickets in bunches. And to me, it's going to be important to see how USA captain Monak Patel handles the next few deliveries. Just faced 1 ball so far.
I think form is going to be a big part of that as well. Not in the best of form, Monak Patel, in the recent T20 World Cup. He'll want to try and find that form back pretty quickly. And not just for this tournament, as he's done really well to dig that delivery out for a single. Off the mark, not just for this tournament right here, but the MLC is coming up, and then the USA also has another tri-series coming up right after that.
I'm a big fan of Amshad De Silva, the bowler. In addition to Amshad De Silva, the fielder, he does brilliant work in the outfield. And then here as a bowler, he's going to be asked to peg things back. That's a great delivery. Boy, how close is that to the stumps? Three deliveries into over number 9. Only 1 run on the board, Manali Patel.
He's excellent with his change of pace. Amshad De Silva. Good little variations. Just makes it very hard for the batter to get a good read. You almost have to play a little bit later to him just to read it. And there's that change of pace again. Very early through the shot, before the ball had even arrived.
Interesting. Unmuk Chand jogging down and having a chat with Amshad De Silva. He knows how important these next 2 balls are. There's the back of the hand slower ball again. This is such good stuff. And look how, when he plays that shot, Agni Chopra, his head is aiming completely skyward. That tells you completely losing his shape and not exactly able to get the consistency that he needs to be able to make contact.
Just over and fully stretched Amshad De Silva. Now, not the tallest of players on the field, but again, just no real shape from the batter, throwing everything at this, losing shape again, threw it very early.
Oh.
Just over the reach.
This is a big ball for me. The last ball of the over. He wants to cash in here, Monang Patel. Such a good ball. Coming back for the second run. They do get there, but how good an over is that? Just 4 runs from the over. Brilliant stuff from Amsha De Silva. Last 3 overs coming up, 31 needed. 80 for 3. 81 for 3.
The lack of boundaries here, you just sense the pressure is going to build.
Agni Chopra and Manali Patel.
No, she's in the comm box with you. We've had this conversation before. I did have Samuel Badri. We worked on a tournament together recently, and when the USA squad for the World Cup was announced, he sent me a congratulatory message saying, "Look, I didn't know your brother was captaining the US." So not quite, but I'll take some credit for it.
Sure.
Agni Chopra has now been beaten by the ball a few times, and you just sense a release shot coming. On strike again.
This is big. Sarvjit Lada. Leg spinner. Bowling right now to Agni Chopra, who is a left-handed hitter. So the stock ball turns into him. But Sarvjit Lada also has an excellent googly. If I were him, I would want to bowl whatever delivers that I bowl to the left-handed Agni Chopra would be all googlies. Have that ball turning away, because from this direction, with the ball hit in the air towards the leg side, it would be helped by the wind. So you don't want to have that ball going in that direction.
Down the track, and it'll just be a single. I don't think the Falcons are going to mind this too much.
Not in the very least.
To bring the experience of Manang Patel back on strike, Agni Chopra, who has been struggling a bit, maybe just get some time at the non-strikers to get a better read off the surface. Hasn't really been the surface though, has it? It's just been the quality of the bowling.
Quality of the bowling indeed. Manang Patel only faced 3 balls, 3 singles. Agni Chopra has actually been there longer. Great bowling. Absolutely brilliant stuff from Sarvjit Lada. 28 from 16.
And now I'm going to go batting side.
Batting side. Batting side.
Yes, I do believe that is very gettable in the shorter format of the game. 12 runs and over is an average chasing required run rate these days. And goes down, goes big, it's in the gap, and it's gone all the way. And I'm going to back myself again when I say batting side after that maximum. Agni Chopra finding form, and he's picked this up beautifully as he's dispatched it for a maximum.
The argument against the batting side, despite that 6 that you just saw, Sarvjit Lada is a very intelligent bowler. And Amsha De Silva, you would think, still has an over left. Reverse sweep.
That's the reverse sweep. Done well. Out of the screws, just couldn't get it wide of the fielder in the deep, but that was struck really well.
21 needed from 14 balls.
That's going to be a dot. And Manang Patel just struggling to find that form and that flair that we usually see him bat with. One delivery. And he is going to keep strike with that single. It's going to bring to an end the 10th over. It's 91 for 3.
Manala Patel. That's a very colorful graphic. 73% of the runs have been scored in. That's a very fancy graphic. I'm not sure exactly what it means, but it's pretty.
Boundary ball percentage chart. And we take a look at. We'll have to look at that graphic again because I think we both got a bit distracted by the neon colors.
Just the neon colors, that made it just look spectacular, didn't it? Here's Amcha De Silva. This is the innings, or the over of the innings and the entire match for me.
Beautiful shape into the right-hander and gets it nice and full. I'm just starting to think if it might be better for Agni Chopra to try and keep more of the strike. Monang Patel still trying to find a little bit of rhythm out there, and we are getting to the business end of this innings, the business end of this game.
The penultimate over of the second innings almost always goes to your best bowler. So that's why Amcha De Silva is bowling here. I just jinxed him.
A rare poor delivery from Amcha De Silva. So it's pretty interesting to see how far wide Monang Patel's bat comes from. Typically, you'll see it come from a little bit wider than normal. We'll try and get a replay of how far away his bat comes from. But we're starting to see more and more of that just to be able to open up that swinging arc. Full straight and should just be the 2 runs. Good running by the 2 batters out in the middle.
2 runs there, but again, you're defending relatively, let's call it just below par total. You don't want extra balls. You've already bowled 1, or you would have already needed to bowl 1 extra ball in this over.
Sounds like you're switching sides.
I'm not at all switching sides. I was primarily a bowler, so mentally I'm almost always rooting for the bowling side. But I want to see the batting side score off of balls that are good balls from the bowlers. In other words, you don't want mistakes from the bowlers to be the reason why this game is lost.
Poor delivery. Could have been able to put that away anywhere. Agni Chopra manages to just spray it into the offside. That's a missed opportunity.
It is absolutely a missed opportunity. He was looking for the Yorker, ends up bowling a full toss, very close to being an above the waist full toss. So he might consider himself lucky there, Amcha De Silva. Concedes only 1 run. So now 16 from 9. This is getting more and more interesting. 3 deliveries. These next 3 deliveries will decide how this match goes.
I must say, it's not very often we see full tosses go for boundaries, actually. We do see them pick up wickets quite often. I would love to see some stats on how many full tosses have been picked. That's got to be a wide. Surely that might even be a no ball. I don't think that's even on the pitch. Given
Signal
wide in
is
the end.
wide. Let's see. Take a look at that again. Amcha De Silva with that wry smile. See where this ball pitches. Oh my goodness, that is very close. That is as close to being a no ball as you could possibly get. And the guideline there is the dotted white line. I think it may have just been inside.
That's a low full toss, and has he got enough? Yes, he has. Well, actually, I'm not so sure if that's just plugged into the ground anymore.
Yep, just plugged into the ground.
That is extremely unlucky. They get just 2 runs off of that. It looked like it was out of the screws, and had it not been for all that rain, that would have gone.
Now, bearing in mind he has already bowled a 6. Boy, that ball just hit and stuck, didn't it? He's already bowled 6, so these are 2 bonus balls. What happens with these 2 bonus balls?
Goes for the wide Yorker, and it'll be just the 1 run.
Brings up the 100. 12 from 7, Manali.
You'd back your batters any day in a T20 game with that.
Very frankly, yes. Again, 2 bonus balls in this over. This will be the second of the bonus balls. 1 has already yielded you a run. And my goodness, you really have to get out of this over without much more damage.
Well, you've got to give credit to the batters here in this over, because Amshi De Silva is very accurate normally, but it's the use of the crease inside the line of the delivery this time, and he does not have enough. Amshi De Silva will pick up a wicket, and this is a big one. Agni Chopra, the set batter between the two, has been picked up, and what a time to lose a wicket. 1 over to go.
Big wicket this. Again, it's the bonus ball. Doesn't quite get it out of the screws, and he can only find Aryan Batra down at long on. So he was looking really dangerous there, Agni Chopra. I'm sorry, Aryan Batra. Actually, I was right the first time, Agni Chopra. But when you put yourself in the position of needing 12 from the last over, ordinarily you favor the batting side. But one of the 2 batters who will be facing in this last over, who will be at the non-striker's end, will be Kunwarjit Singh. And Kunwarjit Singh will be joining Manang Patel. Manang Patel, it's all on his shoulders now, as the new batter coming in at the non-striker's end. 12 from 7. I don't know that I'm fully quite ready to switch back to the batting side just yet, because that's a big blow landed from the bowling side with Ziaul Haq to bowl the last over.
Well, Ziaul Haq did not have the best first spell. His opening spell was a bit of a struggle for him. Line and length, very inconsistent. So he'll be under some pressure here. Dare I say super over? It's a very strong possibility. Do we have time for one?
That would be the question for me. Obviously, the reason why we were playing a 12-over match is because this is a makeup match from yesterday that was washed out. We've already exceeded, in fact, we're very close to the start of the second game, which should be starting at 11:30 local time. It's now 11:21. I don't think we have time for a super over.
This is why I said it should have been a 5-over game. Always tight, isn't it, when you're trying to squeeze 3 games into a day? But
Yep.
I think there's a very good chance that we might end up in a super over in this game. Here we go. Slower ball to start.
Ooh.
And this is excellent. Loses the ball for second. They're asking for the run out as well. And there is plenty of action as the finger has gone up. Everything happening out in the middle, and it's going to bring upon another wicket. What a time again to lose another wicket.
Ravinder Singh with the direct hit. What you need to look for here is the batter running back to the striker's end. Actually, first of all, that's a great piece of fielding. And then a direct hit. And look at this, actually, it's Neil Narvekar. He actually loses his bat, sliding it across the line. So the combination of him losing the bat as well as a direct hit, Neil Narvekar with that wry smile, he knows that he did well there, because all of a sudden you have lost another wicket. Manang Patel has been, in fact, Manang Patel is still there. The new batter who was there at the other end, Kunwarjit Singh, has been dismissed. And it is now going to be the last 5 where you need 11 runs to win. Because the scorecard was obviously incorrect there. It is Manang Patel who's been dismissed. My apologies. So the new batter is going to be Faraz. It's to the point where we give up on the numbers at this stage. But the big picture, Ziaul Haq has bowled one ball. He hasn't taken a wicket, but there has been a wicket that has been taken. And in fact, they did not have a successful run there, did they? Yep. In fact, they did get one run. So very long way of saying that these next 5 balls will decide this match, and you still have 11 more runs to go.
Manak Patel would have been key, you would assume, in this final few deliveries. Again, a low full toss. It's not going to find the boundary, and it's just going to be a single.
So Sushant Madani it is who's at the non-strikers end. He's the one who just played that delivery. Batter who is now on strike is Faraz. 10 needed from the last 4.
One boundary. One. And we could see that momentum shift again. Poor.
Huge. Absolutely huge.
Poor from the batter as well, giving himself some room. There was no pace whatsoever on that delivery, and just didn't read it well enough.
Wow. Faraz Ali, by the way, is the batter.
Excellent delivery. Into the toes, follows the batter, and just a single. I might have to do what you were doing earlier and change sides. They've got to try and find a boundary. 3 deliveries to go, 10 runs needed. Got to change that equation quickly.
2 deliveries, 9 runs. So Ziaul Haq needs to bowl the best Yorker that he's capable of bowling here to Sushant Madani, who is also a former USA player. A dot ball. Manali Patel, somebody several deliveries ago said that the money was on the bowling side.
I don't remember saying that. I don't remember anyone saying that. But you've got to give credit to the bowlers here.
Oh,
they
my
have
goodness,
been
yes.
outstanding. Picking up wickets, the pressure, it's the dot ball pressure for me that's gotten. That's going to be a wide. I'll have to re-bowl that one. It's the dot balls, however, for me, that have just brought all this trouble to the Falcons.
Oh my goodness, this is clinical stuff from Ziaul Haq.
Again, lack of pace, and it's just going to be the single to end the innings.
End the innings and end the match. The Baltimore Royals with a victory by the margin of 6 runs. Clinical bowling performance at the back end of this innings, and they'll be very proud of the way that they bowled. There have been a few hiccups here and there, 10 extras, 9 wides, but they did deliver when it counted. That penultimate over, just 9 runs coming from it, the one bowled by Amshi De Silva, and the wicket taken. And then you start off over number 12 with a wicket, and then only able to manage 5 runs in that last over. So clinical performance. Batting, I think they were in the middle overs. They would have looked very good. Sharad Lumba 33 from 17, Agni Chopra 22 from 20, and Kunwarjit Singh got them off to a good start, 24 from 14, but not much the rest of the way, and just, I think, a disappointing effort with the bat overall.
Well, I think that's where they lacked in that partnership. had they gotten a similar partnership that Unmukchan was involved in. So a lot of starts for the batters, no one actually going on to convert it into a bigger total. The bowling, on the other hand, has been outstanding. It's those economy rates, especially Amshi Da Silva, picked up 2 wickets, bowling at under 6 runs and over.
Unbelievable.
Is absolutely phenomenal. Narvakar also very handy. The skipper, he picked up a wicket, and Keshav Raval with yet another wicket. In confirmation, Baltimore Royals, they 111 in their 12 overs is what we saw. And the Columbus Falcons, in reply, they fall short by 6 runs. It didn't start nearly as well as they would have liked for the Falcons. Lost an early wicket, and despite a few boundaries here and there, the momentum just didn't quite get them over the line. Got a few lives as well, an early drop catch. And we spoke about batters just not being able to convert into those bigger scores. This was a good take behind the stumps. Unmukchan judging a pretty easy catch, a couple leading edges. See 3 batters getting in the 20s and just not being able to convert it into the 40s or 50s. And while this highlights reel looks great, as we might think that a lot of them were boundaries, it was the dot ball percentage that brought on a lot of the wickets that we've just seen. Created that pressure, and the fielding was outstanding. Apart from that one drop catch, this was the moment of the game though for me. The run out of Monank Patel, the skipper getting a direct hit onto the stumps, and they lost a very important batter out in the middle in the last over. That's a wrap for game number 1 as the Royals win by 6 runs. There is more action to come here at Prairie View Cricket Complex for the Houston Open, so don't go too far. We'll be back in about half an hour's time.